Josh Christopher is a 5-star recruit who was an absolute star in high school basketball. But at one point in his life, he was a skateboarder. So how did he get to where he is now? And today, I'm just here to explain to y'all his story. When we see high school basketball stars, we oftentimes think that they played basketball their entire life. And most times this is the case. However, this was not the case for Josh Christopher. He's had a very different route than most players. So what was it like? Let's dive into it. And you guys already know, to get into this guy's story, we gotta throw it all the way back to where things started. As a child, Josh Christopher was around basketball at a very young age. And a big part and reason for this was because he had an older sister that was practicing and he always went to those practices. And he was really young at the time and the basketball was almost as big as him, so he had trouble dribbling it. However, this did not stop the early grind for him, and this was the start of his insane basketball career. He didn't just have a sister, he also had an older brother who went by the name of Patrick. And his brother was a great hooper as well. At one point, he was ranked the number 6 college prospect in the state of California. And just like Josh, he also attended Mayfair High School. But for his senior year, Patrick wound up transferring and then later played in the NBA and overseas. So with Josh having siblings that were much older than him, this helped him get involved in basketball really early. And his last name means a lot to him, and he even said this in an interview. To be able to be the last of that name means a lot. Hopefully one of my kids or Caleb's kids, Paris' daughter, or Patrick's kid even gets to carry on that name. Until then, I'm going to keep doing what I do. I have a lot of weight on my shoulders, but I was born for it. So with that being said, he definitely wants to continue on with the family tradition of basketball. As Josh started to grow up, this is when he really started to turn a lot of heads. When he was in middle school, it was very obvious that he was much more talented and just better than his competition. It almost seemed as if it was too easy for him out there. And he even thinks it was too easy himself. He stated this: that kid in 8th grade was more entitled. I didn't work as much. I think I relied more on my gifts and my talents in basketball. But I feel like the Josh now has earned his spot and has earned his place to be in the room. Nobody can question my work ethic. And when you say my name, you have to put winner along with it. All he was really saying in that quote is that he really wasn't working that hard in middle school. He relied more on his talents. And he was a middle schooler. Most middle schools aren't working extremely hard, so that's not too big of a flaw. But once he was entering high school, he knew he had to put in a lot of work, and he did just that. And although his work ethic was growing, he was also growing himself. When he was in high school, he wound up being listed at 6'5" and 215 pounds. For a high schooler, that's an absolute beast. And one thing that I love about him is that he wasn't relying on his talents like he said. He put in the work. After his practices in high school, he would then do another practice just for himself. He was always working and trying to improve his game. And it didn't go unnoticed. This earned him a 5-star ranking. With having that 5-star ranking and being listed as the number 11th overall player in his class, people started to learn this guy's name. But they didn't just learn his name, they also learned his nickname, known as Jacob. When he was growing up, he earned the nickname Jacob because that's a person who is a showman off the court, and they're also never shy to display his taste and style and flair, and that fits this guy perfectly. And that is how we get into his skateboarding days. When he was asked about his nickname, he said this in an interview: "That's just who I am. I was a skater when I was younger, wearing skinny jeans. I was wearing Vans. I was wearing 2 different socks, blue and then red under it. And then red on top of the blue under. I was just doing crazy stuff. So I think me having a personality, wanting to express myself, has always been me." And like Jacob said, he's always been different, and one thing he's even been more different about are the short shorts. Josh and Jalen Green have made short shorts really popular once again. And it just goes back to Josh Christopher just wants to be different, and the shorts is how he expresses himself. Before we go any farther, I just want to say I absolutely love how he wants to be different, because being normal is boring, and if you want to be great, you gotta be different and stand out. And that is exactly what Josh is doing, and I absolutely love it. So if you're a kid out there and you're watching this video and you're scared to be different, you gotta quit being scared, because if you want to be great, that's what you gotta do. With that being said, Josh always has that business-like mentality on and off the court. And like I said, a lot of people see the short shorts and they think that's when it started, but he's always been different. He was literally a skateboarder kid who wore Vans and different colored socks. But not only that, when he played for the Oakland Soldiers in 2012 through 2014, he was wearing a neon pink headband. A neon pink headband, that's not normal. But like I said, this guy doesn't want to be normal, he wants to be different. And when he was wearing this pink headband, when he would make an amazing play, he would scream out "headband highlights." And the funny thing about this is, eventually the whole team started wearing headbands. He even said this: there were pictures of whole teams decked out in headbands, and I just know we started something. I know I've said it a lot, but I can't stress it enough. It just goes all back to him being a leader and wanting to be different. If you want to be a leader, you gotta branch out and try different things and try to start your own wave. And let me just tell you guys, Jacob is the perfect definition of a leader. The strange and funny thing about the short shorts was that it started in just a weird way. He only rolled up his shorts because they was uncomfortable to him at one point, but he wound up dropping 42 points in that game, so from that moment on, he just kept doing it. And as you guys know, this is when that trend started, and ever since then it hasn't slowed down. And here's what he had to say about that: I'm real superstitious. I'm trying to break that habit, but I had 42 that game. I'm like, oh yeah, we doing something now. So I just started rolling up the rest of the season. That is so crazy because he literally started a whole new trend just because his shorts were uncomfortable at a certain length. And the only reason he kept doing it was because he was superstitious and was scared to not unroll them. Don't let Josh Christopher's silly trends and the way he dresses and what he does off the court fool you though. He's very serious about basketball. Even though he likes to express himself and be different, he has that same killer mentality that many hoopers have. After one of his games, he said this in an interview: I want the ball in my hands because I don't want any ifs at the end of the game. If we're going to lose a game, I want to be responsible for it. Win or lose, especially if we lose, ... put the blame on me. We just have to sit back and admire that those are very mature words from him. We see it in college and the NBA, but not many high school kids will accept and take the blame. And Josh Christopher is willing to do that. Now that's my type of teammate. Alright, I know some people are going to say it in the comments section. That was literally a coincidence. That has nothing to do with flight. Alright, let's continue on with the video. With all this being said, it seems as if Josh Christopher has had a great and simple rise to the top. However, some moments have been darker than others. When he was growing up, he had a teammate that went by the name of Kyrie Brown. And Kyrie Brown had a heart condition, but he would still practice with the team. And one day, Kyrie Brown went up for a layup and he just collapsed on the floor, and it was not good. They wound up rushing him to the hospital, but it was too late. He could not be saved. And eventually they informed Josh about this, and he was devastated. When he was asked about it, he said this: I kind of think about it. Certain times when I hit shots, I will be like, that's Kyrie. I just started to take the game more seriously and never take the game for granted. He was on my AAU team. I think anybody that was connected to him in any way has the opportunity to carry on his legacy. Before we go any farther, I just want to say my thoughts and prayers go out to that family. That is just crazy and unreal, man. But when Kyrie Brown passed away, this lit a fire under Josh Christopher. And this was a huge reason as to why he started working as hard as he did. In middle school, he wasn't really working hard. He was just relying on his talent. But when that happened, he started to take the game very serious. Also, one thing to note is that when Josh was just 13, him and his friend Caleb would go to his local 24-hour fitness and play against older competition. And when I say older, I mean really older. They was playing against grown men and holding their own and even dominating them. So this really helped Josh in the long run. And when his friend was interviewed and asked about how serious Josh is about being different, this is what he said: Josh has always been the same. He's never let anyone change him. If no one gives him credit, he started all this getting mad drippy for high school kids. And by quote unquote getting mad drippy, he's talking about wearing drip to high school and just standing out. And Josh Christopher doesn't just only pass the eye test on the court, he also puts up the numbers to back it up. When he was just a freshman playing for varsity, he averaged 14.4 points per game. He also pitched in 6 rebounds and 2 assists. As a freshman averaging 14 a game, that's really good. So heading into his sophomore season, he had a ton of expectations and he delivered. He jumped his points per game all the way up to 25.9. He also happened to jump up all of his other stats, averaging 3.6 assists and 6.5 rebounds. And another crucial stat to notice is that he averaged 4 steals per game. So at that point in time, he was definitely proving that he was up next. And he continued putting up these outstanding numbers going into his junior season. Once again, he had an outstanding year, averaging 25 points per game, 5 assists, and 7.8 rebounds. And for his last and final year, it got even better. He averaged 29.4 points per game, 4.4 assists, and 11.2 rebounds. Those numbers are insane. And oh yeah, he also pitched in 3.5 steals per game. When you hear that somebody is a 5-star recruit, those are the exact numbers you expect to see out of that player. And he wasn't just putting up these great numbers in his high school season, he was also doing this in AAU. On the EYBL circuit, he averaged 21.7 points per game. So after that season, that is is when he proved to everybody that he can put up these numbers against any type of competition. And as you guys know, the EYBL circuit, that is the best of the best players. And after he put up these 22 points per game, this is when he started to make his surface all over social media. And about that, he went on to say this: "I think I took it up another level. I feel like I became more of a household basketball name this summer." And Josh Christopher, just let me tell you, you are absolutely right. And during that same summer, he also put this on his Instagram: quote unquote, "Summer is mine." At that point in time, this is when everybody in the country started to realize who this kid was. And when his coaches and teammates were asked how to describe him, this is what they said: confident, finely tuned, dog on the court, naturally gifted scorer, and explosive. And I completely agree with all of those. Those are great synonyms. And Dior Johnson, his teammate at Mayfair, went on to say this about him: "People throw beast and animal around. There's not too many beasts and there's not too many animals, you feel me? Boy is an animal." And by boy, he was talking about Josh. He's that animal. One fun fact to throw in there about Josh Christopher is that he has to have a 3 in his number. No matter what team he plays for, he said this: "Anywhere I go, I'll ask for number 13, even if I have to switch it to 31. In other games, if I can't wear my 13, then I'll try to wear Caleb's 3. For those of you that don't know, Caleb is his brother. If you haven't picked up on it by now, Josh is just superstitious like that, and his parents went on to say this about him in an interview: "Every time I talk to somebody about him being born in 20 minutes, they start laughing, but that just means to me that he's ready. He's ready to lead on a basketball court. He's ready to lead in the classroom. He's ready to lead the culture. He's ready to lead socially. He's ready to lead economically in a couple of years. Whoever follows him, that's their decision. I think it's a beauty of leadership." I literally stated that earlier in the video. This guy's a leader. And with Josh Christopher having that leader mentality and his senior season finally coming to an end, he made a big decision. And this decision was an announcement to commit and sign with Arizona State. In my personal opinion, I don't think it really would have mattered where this kid wound up signing to go play basketball at, because he's going to thrive and succeed. So I'm not going to say I think it's a great fit for him, because quite frankly, I think anywhere he would have decided to go, it would have been a great fit for him. If we're being honest, he's probably good enough to skip college and go directly to the NBA, but as you guys know, that's not possible right now. But there's one thing for sure: this guy is a great basketball player, and I really think he's going to thrive at the college level. I'm wishing Jacob and his family the best of luck, and I hope he continues to see a lot of success in his basketball career, and I'm definitely going to be following along with it. Josh Christopher has literally been different his entire life, and at one point he was even a skateboarder. But flash forward in time, he's now a 5-star recruit who has the world in his eyes, and he's not stopping just yet. But hey man, with all this being said, that's about gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. If you are new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.